Long before Jack the Ripper stalked the streets of London, there was a different kind of predator that brought the city to its knees. In the spring of 1788, a phantom began appearing in the foggy alleyways of Georgian London. He didn't want your money, and he didn't want your life. He wanted to slash your clothes. This was the London Monster, and for 2 years, he was the most feared man in England. The monster's method was as bizarre as it was terrifying. He would approach well-to-do women from behind, shout an obscenity, and then use a sharp object, likely a pin or a small knife, to slash through their expensive silk dresses and into their skin, usually targeting their backsides. The attacks were lightning fast, leaving the victims bleeding and humiliated while the perpetrator vanished into the crowd. But the real story isn't just the crime, it was the mass hysteria. London descended into a state of sociogenic illness. The panic became so intense that the city effectively changed its fashion. Ladies began wearing thick copper pots or cork padding under their petticoats as a form of buttock armor to deflect any potential stabs. The press fueled the fire. Tabloids offered a massive £100 reward, a fortune at the time, which led to the rise of the monster hunters. These were vigilante groups who roamed the streets wearing large badges that read, "The Monster Hunter." They frequently attacked innocent men who happened to look suspicious or were simply in the wrong place at the right time. Being an unpopular man in London in 1790 was practically a death sentence. In June 1790, the panic reached a boiling point. A man named Renwick Williams was pointed out by a victim in St. James's Park. Williams was a florist who, by all accounts, was a quiet, somewhat eccentric man. Despite having a solid alibi and no history of violence, the public needed a scapegoat. The trial was a circus. Witness testimony was contradictory, and many believed the monster was actually multiple different men, or perhaps didn't exist at all, with many attacks likely being self-inflicted or imagined in the heat of the panic. Williams was sentenced to 6 years in prison, and almost overnight, the attack stopped. Not because the monster was behind bars, but because the public narrative had finally found its ending. The London Monster remains a chilling study of how a city's collective fear can transform a series of minor crimes into a legendary, world-ending threat.